What's up, guys? It's Wolfgang back with another Dorkfish review, and today, via request from a friend of mine, I am going to review the Figma Overwatch Reaper. Guys, let's get into it. Now, I want to start out by saying that I don't play games like that. I don't play these games in particular. I don't know anything about the lore of Overwatch. I know the character's cool. I know he's very popular. But I literally don't know anything about him. So I have no reference other than what I'm looking at. And so I'm going to judge it based off of the figure I have in front of me. With all that being said, we're going to start, as always, with the box and accessories. All right, and for the box, we've got a simple open window so you can see the majority of the figure. You've got the Figma logo, Overwatch, the 10-year anniversary, everything that you need to know about it on the front. You've got the Reaper on the side. You've got some product shots on the back. You've got another product shot on the side. And on the very top, you've got the Reaper. And I don't know if you can see it in there, but there is actually a portion of the black backdrop that rips out and apparently goes underneath that plastic portal piece or smoke piece or whatever that is. But I wasn't going to do that to this box. So that's everything about the box. Now let's go into the accessories. All right, and moving right along to accessories, he comes with a decent little spread of hands, a stand, a few accessory pieces, and his weapons. Both guns, as you know, if you're familiar with this character. And they look pretty good. I'm going to talk about the aesthetics of the stuff as we go on this one to be efficient. And I think they did a great job. You've got your porthole for, what is the next accessory? You do have two guns, as you would expect, because you can do the pose where he's got the guns crossed. I know that pose. And you have this accessory right here, the firing accessory for when he shoots. And I think they did a really good job on this. I like the matte translucent plastic they used. I think it was smart. The shape is great. The paint is fantastic on it. I haven't tried pouring it in yet, so let's see together, shall we? Yeah, I think that looks great. I actually really liked it a lot. I like it. And you get two of these, by the way, and they're exactly the same. You got his flight stand. Now, his flight stand comes with a couple of extra parts, but here's the general. It's got Figma on it. It has a little small port because you can port it into the back and have him floating that way. It's got an extension part if you want to go a lot higher, and an extension part for if you just want to go just a touch higher. Then you get into his whole mess of hands he has, and he has, besides the fist hands you've got on him already, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 other pairs of hands. So you've got his open fist hands here, and I don't actually know what these are for. There's one stylized hand that's actually pretty cool, and you got these, but nothing he comes with I think makes sense to having these hands. I do like to draw these little clear ports so I can hold them a little easier and show them to you. But yeah, I don't know what they're for because I have no reference to the character, and he has nothing in accessories that comes with him that fits in these hands. So I don't think these fully make sense, not when you already have closed fist hands on him. But I will say, they are painted and sculpted very well. Very clean. I like that. I like the silver they used. You've got your gun-wielding hands right here. So you've got your gun hands right here, and they look great as well. Good job on them. Nice and clean, well painted. You've got your open-clawed hands. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's like a sorcerer or he has powers or something of that nature. I know he's got a portal thing that comes with him. So maybe that's for that kind of deal. Or just a menacing claw hand or whatever the case may be. And then he's got this stylized hand, which I don't know what it's for, but I do like it. And it is the thumbs up hand. And yes, I will say repeatedly, I don't know what it's for because I don't know anything about the game. Thumbs up or down. Definitely for me, a thumbs up. I think they killed it with that set of hands. And last but not least is this little, I don't know if it's a fog or a portal or what. I was told that you lay it down, he stands on it. So let's just And there you go. And it looks okay. It's not really that great to me, but yeah, whatever. So, not a bad spread of accessories. You do, I should mention, I guess, you get the little baggie to put his stuff in, just like Mezco does as well. So yeah, not a bad spread of accessories. Um, so so yeah, overall, not a bad spread of accessories. Like I said, I just don't know what those other hands are for. They're kind of open, but you can't really put anything in them. So maybe someone in the comments tell me if it's for something specific. Now, moving along, we're going to look at the aesthetics of the figure itself. All right, and aesthetically, here's what I'll say. I am a 1/12 scale guy. That's my go-to. I like things being in the 6-inch range, and he doesn't quite fit that, so that bugs me. But I think he looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie, they did a really good job. They impressed me. I'm not a Figma collector, and I don't play this game, so I don't really know anything about him. But I will say he not only looks amazing from the promo stuff, but I think this figure looks really good in person. I like him. I think he is photogenic, and I think he looks good for the camera. All the way around, he's painted really well, nice and clean. I don't see any issues there. I love the red in the knees. I know it's forming, it looks like a face. Great job there. No issues, no line problems. There's that porthole we talked about. And I'm not big and keen on these kinds of capes or robes or jackets like this. The last figure I had that had something like this was from SH Figure Arts. It was Majin Buu and then Hercule's cape, and I think Piccolo's cape might have done the same thing. And I wasn't a fan of those. And I'm not particularly a fan of these, but it's not the worst it could be. So I'm okay with it. These are nice and loose, so you can move them around for articulation. I'm not sure quite how I feel about that because then it's going to look goofy in some of the poses. But otherwise, good job. I will say the head sculpt, because I've seen cosplays, I've seen masks and all sorts of other stuff. For this character, I will say the head sculpt looks great. But the last two gripes I have is you can see, even if you push it down, you can see through the hood to the back. And I don't like the way they did this. I understand what they're doing, but I don't like it because it ports in and out, and it's got 3 ports there. But it's an unforgiving plastic, and you see how his head sits kind of cocked? Yeah, it's going to sit like that as long as this hood is on. It's going to cock the head. So his head is always going to be in an angle or a weird position, and I don't like that. So that is probably one of the most frustrating things with the figure, is that trying to get a good, straightforward head pose when taking a photo with him is very tough because of the cowl and the way the neck is done. So that's that. But otherwise, aesthetically, I think they did a pretty good job. I like how they hid the toe articulation and how they hid some of the others. It looks good otherwise. Let's move along to articulation. All right, and for articulation, you get a decent amount out of the head and neck, except for the fact that this hood won't allow it to move. So you have to pull it off, and then you can move, and you can look with just the head there, that far up, that far down. With the neck in, you can get a little further down and a lot further back, almost all the way up. You can turn it just fine. You can even turn the neck. Again, that's all null and void because once you put this hood back on, I mean, you can get him to look up that far, but what's the point? He's now looking at his hood. You can get him to look down decently, but that's about it. You're not going to get any real dynamic side to side or anything out of it because of the nature of the hood. So a bit disappointing there. Now, he has got, as you can see in here, looks like double ball joint with a pin hinge in there. So he's got some decent movement. You can go all the way around. And this is a slip cover, a rubber cover, this portion, to cover that. So you can get some movement in and out. It's not horrible. It'll allow you to do the gun pose you want to do with him. But it's nothing special. Double jointed elbows here. He does have a bicep swivel, and I think he has a gauntlet rotation as well. Boop, boop, boop. Double joint is right that far. It is a pin and hinge like you'd see with Mezco, so it's a bigger ball joint, I think, or I guess comparatively to Mezco, it's not really a bigger ball joint, but yeah, so it pins and hinges just fine. I haven't tried putting a different hand on, so we'll see how tough it is to get on and off. For the abdomen area, you've got, oop, he popped off. He's on this pin insert. I've had him pop off a couple times. It is, in my experience, hard to get a good crunch. He doesn't really crunch forward, doesn't really crunch back, turns side to side perfectly, but it cuts off the sculpt, so I'm not really sure how you feel about that. You do get a little bit of a side-to-side swivel, but not a lot. So that's cut off, inconvenienced. There is a joint here. And there goes my AC. Yeah, there's a joint there, but I can't get much out of it because of the cape being in the way. So not a lot there. As far as hips go, you can kick out about that far. I don't know how far you should be able to kick out character-wise. And on this side, you see how the belts are going to lift up, which is going to look goofy, but still not that far. And then kicking the cape back, then you can try to do your side-to-side. And he really doesn't have all that side-to-side. He literally can't go past that point. That's it. So not very far at all. Double jointed knees get you about only that far. I don't know that he needs to go further than that. I don't know the character, again. But it's just not very far. Ankles go down about that far. Ankle comes up significantly well, like that. Toe hinge is hidden pretty decently. I actually don't hate the toe hinge, and I usually do hate toe hinges on figures, but they did a good job of hiding that, and it doesn't look like a bad cut. And it's functional, which is important because most toe hinges aren't. And then I guess in articulation, technically you have the cape. If you look up underneath, you've got your contact points there, which are pin and hinge, much like your wrist. And it's two independent floating pieces that you could get a little bit of rotation out of. But otherwise, that is all she wrote for articulation, and it leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not a huge fan of it, but hey, it is what it is. I've messed with a few other Figma figures before and have never really been stellarly impressed with their articulation. Could just be I bought bad figures. Could just be that it's how they are across the line. I don't know. Not going to complain. So just let me know in the comments what you think of Figma's articulation overall. That being said, we're going to move along to scale. All right, and starting off, we have him next to my Mezco custom shredder on the Gold Skull body. And on the other side, the Jada Toys Cammy figure. And yeah, he's I think Figma is a smaller line, kind of more akin to SH Figure Arts. So he is small for me, but I don't know about Figma overall, so he probably fits in well with them. But that's what he looks like next to these. And here he is next to the Gamerverse Marvel Legends Wolverine. Okay, and for final thoughts, I don't absolutely hate this figure. There's some things I don't like about it, some of the articulation hindering. Maybe my biggest thing is the way the cowl and neck and head is done. I don't like. But there's some really good things. Arms are fantastic. The wrists are fantastic. Even pegging the hands in and out was pretty smooth. I did like that process. And he doesn't look bad at all otherwise. I think he looks pretty good. Just needs to be a little bit bigger and just be a little better articulated for my personal taste. But I'm going to say overall, if you're a Figma fan or you're an Overwatch fan, I definitely recommend him. He is not a bad figure at all. If he was a touch bigger, I'd be buying one of my own. So, that being said, I'm going to bring this review to an end. I do hope you like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below any video game figure that is your favorite video game figure. And please let me know in the comments any other figures you want me to review. I do take requests. Thanks for watching and supporting, guys. Wolfgang's out. Later.